experience. We like to give, there's two people in this equation, of course. There's not only the entrepreneurs, but the lenders. We feature lenders on our website. We've just created a feature called Lending Teams, where, for example, Northwestern University can compete against University of Chicago. The two top lending teams right now, it's the Kiva Christians competing against the Kiva Atheists. They both made more than $100,000 of loan. Team Obama just crushed McCain. That was pretty interesting. So take a look at that. And so, do we have any evidence that we're kind of along the right track? Kiva is kind of 3.5 years old as a website. We have a member forum called kivafriends.org. Kiva's engineers didn't have time to create a member forum, but our users just created one. It's the official lender forum for lenders by lenders. And if you type in the word addicted into the search box on this community forum, you get over 2 pages of results. And this might be kind of small, but I'm going to read some of these. Someone called Cucumber Time wrote, "I am not addicted, I am not addicted, I am not addicted." Another person writes about how they wake up at 2 a.m. in the morning to see if there's a loan from the country that they want to lend to. And so this is so rare, I think, in this social space, to get something that, the average fantasy football player to kind of want to engage on an issue of like global poverty. And this is something that I think is heartening for us, and something that I think you guys should be mindful of as you're building out your own social enterprises. How do you create a really compelling experience? Second, be radically transparent. We are highly imperfect at Kiva, and I'm going to give you a couple clear examples of how many times we screw up and how. It's like the Millennium Falcon in Star Wars, it's not pretty, but it's working. A lot of companies, actually, a lot of organizations are highly imperfect. We're all highly imperfect. And one of the things that I think characterizes kind of some of the second generation web companies here is they talk about their screw-ups. So how many of you guys, when Facebook released Beacon, it was this kind of, if you made a transaction on Amazon, it would publish to your Facebook newsfeed, and they defaulted it on, and Facebook, the community was in just uproar for a while. And this is a little post from Mark Zuckerberg, this founder and CEO of Facebook, who talks about, how they've screwed up and, what they're going to do about it. And it wasn't this corporate speak, it was a real kind of engagement with their community. Kiva, I think, has learned a lot from these companies that kind of say, hey, look, come with us. We're not always going to make the right decisions, but we're going to tell you what we're thinking and what we're going to do to change. One of the things that is a real big question, I think, in philanthropy is how much of my money, when I donate to you or if I lend to you, is going to go towards your overhead. And a lot of times they kind of put it in the fine print. Kiva actually makes it, when you make a loan on Kiva, you get this page that pops up and it says, help us pay the rent. And you can skip that step, or you can donate an additional $2, 10% on top of your loan. And by making it explicit, not an implicit fee like Ticketmaster or someone like that, I think it actually inspires trust. And right now, 7 out of 10 users choose to donate an extra 10%. And last year, we were about 75% self-sufficient through our website community. And so I think that's one example. Another example is things don't always go right. We've had experiences at Kiva where our microfinance field partners have posted inaccurate information. And now we have kind of teams of people going and basically doing random sampling to see, did your money really get there? Did they really buy, say, that sewing machine? And is it really an 8-month loan term? Like verifying some of the basic data. And what you'll see on the Kiva website is where we find that it didn't happen, we actually make that very explicit. And we think that if we actually make the bad news explicit, people will trust the good news. And so for any of you guys who are starting off, you guys are going to have some really bad days. Please keep a blog, and please reveal where you're weak. And on the bottom of your signature line, link to your blog, and let people know where you're weak. Because if you're trying to do something good, people genuinely want to back you. But if you're always just talking about how great you are, no one can help. So reveal your weaknesses, show where things aren't going so well, create integrity around your experience, and I think that really helps bring people along. I'm going to talk about 2 companies that I really admire, probably more than any other internet company out there, Wikipedia and Craigslist. Let me first talk about just Wikipedia. Wikipedia, for the longest time, only had 4 employees. Now they have 20 employees. 1 out of every 200 page loads on the internet is a Wikipedia page. Only 30% of their articles are in English. This social experiment of making kind of, the sum of all human knowledge free to everyone is only 8 years old, and it's actually, it was highly improbable, but it's actually working, and it's working because of a huge band of volunteers that are helping out. Craigslist, 18 employees, one of the top 12 sites in the US. Just an incredible public good where you can actually flag if there's inappropriate content up on that site. Kiva realized early on that we didn't have very much money and we actually needed to continue to grow. And so we had massive constraints, no resources, and we turned to crowdsourcing, much like these two companies have as well. One way we do it, and this is probably the most popular way, how many of you guys have heard of the Kiva Fellows Program? Okay. The Kiva Fellows Program, I think the simplest way to describe it is, there's for example, in the US they have the Peace Corps, you have to go for 2 years, you get placed somewhere. Kiva realized, hey, there's actually a lot of interest in microfinance from college communities, MBA communities, mid-career professionals. Let's let folks actually go out into the field, we'll place them with one of our microfinance institutions. The minimum time that you have to be out there is for 10 weeks, all the way to a year. Over the last year, we've sent about 150, mainly recent college grads, to the field to help basically get that microfinance institution set up on Kiva, help kind of with some of the training, some of the glitches, tell some of the stories of the entrepreneurs on the ground, and then ensure that the internet community's money is really getting there and reporting back. This program, although Kiva didn't have the budget to hire a lot of staff around the world, this program has just been instrumental in us being able to grow at this rate. So as you guys think about, how can, I really don't have much money. If you look at what you're using the money to pay for, if you can engage volunteers and figure out an effective way to do that, it can really change the dynamics and your rate of scale. The second thing that we realized is there's a lot of content being uploaded, and it's not in English. For example, I was just out in West Africa, and that content will be uploaded in French. And right now, someone maybe in Florida will log in and translate it from French to English, and then post it back to the site. And so we have over 300 volunteer editors and translators, ranging from Russian speakers to Spanish speakers to Vietnamese speakers, who basically log in, pull down 5 entrepreneur profiles, if they have an hour or two, translate it from kind of the original language to English, which is the primary language on our site today, and then renders it up on the website. And that has really dramatically allowed us to scale.